And we're back on Good Morning La Land with my dear friend, one of the hottest models in the world, and author, Slay the Fake Game, Rachel McCord. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me. I'm like in the hot seat, but I really like it.
You are definitely hot.
You are
This is the hot seat.
The queen is in the hot, okay?
I think they need to see your boots. Before we do anything, they need to see the boots.
I gotta be careful with this dress.
Yeah, the boots.
What kind of show do you want?
It's a morning show. Keep it clean.
It's a shot of caffeine.
No matter when you see Rachel, she always looks amazing, right? Recently, today, in Page 6. Congratulations, that was
Congratulations.
awesome. Yeah, featured in there.
Timely.
Look at that.
Page 6.
She did that all for us.
Just for you. It was really for
It was
you.
just for
The hottest
Look
Santa
at
picture
that
I
picture,
have ever
though. I mean,
seen.
L.O. is so. What do you have? You have a dog? What do you have in your?
That's my little munchkin.
Oh.
She's like my little nugget. She's been on these couches a couple times, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, she's like my little baby.
Nugget?
She has a little Christmas bow on too.
What's her name?
Munchkin, literally.
Munchkin.
He's a munchkin, her name is Munchkin. My other one is Giggles, but he doesn't.
Giggles, best names.
Giggles and Munchkin. But it's really bad
She's
because
so
they're-
depressed. Like honestly,
Clearly.
antidepressants needed
Clearly.
over here for sure.
Yes.
No, you're one of the most inspirational, motivational women in Hollywood right now. Really, truly. You know, I met Rachel on a red carpet, and ever since I've known her, she has been nothing but a light. She is a light at these events. She's a light in her everyday life. Absolutely. It's just such a pleasure to be able to, talk to you. You wrote this book, Slay the Fame Game.
Love.
Sharing your light, sharing all the tell-alls, really, of surviving here in Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard city, I'm not gonna lie. It's like, you're dealing with so much stuff. Everybody here knows. It's like, I think it's just hard on your heart in general because as soon as you do something, it's like, yeah, but what else are you doing? And I mean, I have so many friends who are incredibly successful, and then as soon as they finish filming something, everyone's like, yeah, but like, what is she doing now? What is he doing now? And it just feels bad to be that person who's like, always trying to prove to everybody else that they're worthy. And it's like, no, you don't need to do anything to be worthy. You don't need to reach a certain status to matter. Wow. You're fabulous right now, no matter what you have, what you don't have, how you look. I feel like we have to get that message out there because social media creates this space where anybody can be famous. And we need to remind every person that it doesn't matter how many likes you get or don't get. You need to just love yourself.
So Rachel, we met at your event at Fred Siegel, your book launch. Incredible event, and Focus TV Network covered it, the red carpet. Beautiful event, just gorgeous. I loved your new cover, everything's so pretty. So I want to know, like, breaking it down for people. Say someone's new to LA. They're trying to do social media, they're trying to do, what would you tell people? What is your greatest advice that you'd give people?
Well, that's a great question. My first thing would always be to first believe in yourself. I think we jump over that way too quickly. We say like, I'm gonna start this new company, I'm gonna start this new social media profile, I'm gonna start this new brand, but we really don't actually take a pause to think about how you really feel about that. Like, are you prepared for success? Are you ready to take the next step and to be out in the open? Because what you create on social media doesn't go away. Like, let me warn you, there are pictures that I'm like, ew, I'm gonna delete that, and then I go on Google, and yes, I've Googled myself. It's very embarrassing.
We all do.
But I'm like, no, it's still there. So I think first believe in yourself. The second one goes into those pictures is creating a brand. So thinking about what do you want to be known for? For me personally, like I want to be sassy self-help. I think that the reality is I went through a lot of stuff when I was a kid, and self-help was the only thing that got me through that. I was really depressed and I really did struggle. So yes,
I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
I swear to you, I was like a wallflower and like so quiet and insecure. And I started working on myself and I started doing positive affirmations. And I realized that in my search of the perfect self-help book, I didn't find anything that really spoke specifically to me, because I didn't want to be this girl who like walks around in yoga pants all the time and was like, oh, let's have a juice.
Namaste.
I love juice, and I want it in like a painted wine cup that says "Slay Girl Slay." I wanted it to be different, and so for me, it's like sassy self-help. It's like, hey, put on your stilettos and your lipstick and your faux fur and have fun. Go out into the world and be you. So that's where the build a brand happens, and then also having a supportive community around you. I would be nothing if I didn't have the McCord list and my influential ladies, because they're the ones who I can be like, girls, let's do something together, like get me out of the house, let's shoot something. Because as an entrepreneur, you are often on your own, and you are often feeling like, am I crazy? Am I just delusional? And you have to be a little bit in general.
Absolutely,
you know
yes,
what I
just to
mean?
get through.
Yeah, exactly. So you gotta have those people around you, and then you just gotta be really loyal to the people who follow and support you. I mean, I am so grateful for every comment, every like, every heart. I respond. I get DMs from girls all over the place who are talking about things they're struggling with. Guys too, but I focus more on my female platform because it's what I understand. I'm like, I don't really know what to say to you. I'm not a boy. Like, I am like to talk about things I don't understand. So keep it specific.
And we call that branding.
Yes.
That's branding.
Yes, know your market.
Yes,
y'all.
that's right.
It's really funny because I loved what you wrote about your first interview you did on the red carpet about knowing your brand. Tell us about that experience.
Yeah, so for me personally, I think it's one of those things where you often get into these conversations and you're talking about things and it's just not you. And you're like, what am I saying? Or you look back over the footage and you're not proud of it. So you really have to take that time to think about who you are before you get on a red carpet and someone asks you these questions, because that's the next step. And again, like going back to that first step of like, are you ready for the success? Are you prepared for what that will entail?
Were you ready for it?
Definitely not. I had no idea. I mean, I literally, like, my first time on a red carpet in LA was like a week and a half in, and I ended up on the cover of Inquirer magazine, and they were like, who's gay in Hollywood? And like, it was a picture of my sister and I, which was even worse.
Oh, no.
It was like
Oh, no.
all layers
That's a
of
whole nother-
wrong, and
Yeah.
I'm like
Wow.
scooping it up, like,
Buying them out.
yeah, and I was like fresh off the boat from Georgia, so I didn't even know what Ralph's was versus like Kroger or Publix.
Oh my
which I was
gosh, Kroger and Publix, yes.
So this is old man. Like
Oh
putting
my
these
God.
magazines in here.
Yeah.
How rude, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I definitely wasn't ready for it, and I think honestly, it took many years to get there. I had to take a breather from LA and just be like, what am I doing? Where am I at? And that's why I wrote the book, because I realized that all these insecurities that come up, now it's not only in Hollywood. It's girls who are being bullied, and not just the bullying that ends when she walks out of the classroom. It's happening on social media. It's everywhere. So we really have to give these girls encouragement to remind them that they matter and their stories matter, and they deserve to love themselves and to be loved.
Who was giving you that encouragement?
He's like, myself? Right now, I'm telling myself. Let's be honest.
Today it's my husband, Rick. He's so
He's
incredible.
so dope.
amazing.
He's beyond.
Amazing.
I love
Oh.
every little part of that man.
Yeah.
Like, he just like cracks me up all day. But yeah, to be honest, I didn't have someone, but I think that's why I needed it so bad. So I wrote this book not out of like a desire to even to say I Slay the Fame Game, because that wasn't at all what it was. I was like, the girls who are gonna read Slay the Fame Game and are gonna go to that are the ones I want to impact, because they're the ones who are trying to find their validation in fame and social media, and these are the girls that need the encouragement. But yeah, I mean, people have come along the way, of course. Like, I've definitely not done this on my own, but as far as like feeling, validated and encouraged, not so much along my journey, but that's also why I've sought so hard to create that within me, and then to encourage others to create it within them, because I don't think that we should be looking to the world to validate us at all. I
course
think
not,
the
right.
natural thing is that we want to have a supportive group around us, and that is really important, but we have to be able to say that for ourselves and to validate ourselves.
Wow, it's incredible. So this is so interesting to me, because one of the most beautiful things about you is that, of course, physically you're beautiful, but also on the inside, and you come across because you are so authentic, right? And yet you're living a very glamorous life. Do you ever find it challenging to like walk that tightrope where you're consistently being authentic, but also in a world that's full of so much, celebrity and fame and
Absolutely,
Yeah.
I do. That's a great question too. I do feel that. I feel the challenge of, I mean, and it's not really a keep up with appearances, because like we were talking about offset, like this really is me. Like I
Really is.
totally.
No, that's not what I mean. Like, I mean, just like being sassy and silly and like owning all my flavors. So that's really true. I think what I struggle with is kind of just feeling a little bit like people don't understand the heart that's within me and my desire to help people. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've sat down with my team in my office and been like literally tearing up, which is really embarrassing when you're leading a company and also it's like people like, I think I'm gonna quit.
In that voice.
I don't think I can trust you. Exactly that voice. But like, I tear up, I'm like, you don't understand. We're doing all this stuff and we're succeeding, right? We've got Glam Squad wanting to reach out with us. We've got Sephora, all these amazing brands. But this is not what the heart of the McCord list is. This is not the heart of slay and that powerful message that says you deserve to slay. So I need to, and I literally will have this moment and I'll pick up the phone and I'll call a nonprofit I work with. I go to Covenant House a lot. And so I'll be like, hey, can I come in and do a workshop with your girls, please? I know that I just have to get back to putting my feet on the ground and saying, this is why I do what I do. And when I sit there with those girls, that's when I realized.
So funny, because on your Instagram the other day, there was you going there with your Chick-fil-A to the house, and it doesn't get more authentic and real and genuine than that, you know?
Of course, I need to like audit it a little bit because some people don't eat chicken. They're like vegan and we're in LA.
No, but just the fact that, you know, there's invitations to all these glamorous events, and you took your night to bring Chick-fil-A to the girls and hang out. I mean, that is you. That's so authentic. And you've got a great show, Slay, on Focus TV. We'd love to give you a sneak peek of what you're doing here.
Hi loves, my name is Rachel McCord and I am so excited to meet you. I started my journey in Hollywood in such a bizarre way. My sister is in entertainment, so I moved to LA from Georgia simply to support her. I really didn't expect any of this to happen to me, and if I'm really honest, I didn't think I was worthy of it. But before I knew it, I was walking red carpets, posing in photo shoots, hosting events, and hanging out with some really cool people in entertainment. After selling my first company, I realized a greater passion to speak, support, and mentor those trying to make it themselves. So I started the McCord List, a network of influential women in Hollywood who mentor girls. I mean, can we say praise emoji? Through my blog and my show, Slay with Rachel McCord, I became obsessed with writing and development. It was so much fun taking an idea from inception to creation. That's how I started connecting with so many fabulous creatives just like yourself. Before long, I wrote my very first sassy self-help book called Slay the Fame Game, which is all about breaking into social media and Hollywood without it breaking you. So, whether you're an influential woman in media, you know I'm talking to you fellow bloggers, celebs, influencers, and artists, or you're a fabulous woman in need of a little extra encouragement, I invite you to join the McCord List, and together we can take on the world and slay.
Knowing that you basically help women become empowered, understanding how to build their brand, how to slay the fame game in Los Angeles. So I know it comes down to belief, it comes down to getting a support group, but I want to know for the people out there that are watching in LaLa Land, like where do they go? How do they get involved, not only in your community, but you said a specific place you go. Are there specific places within LA that you recommend going?
Absolutely, and anyone who is watching in LA, they can always go on themccordlist.com and join the list. So I host events and things like that, which are designed to help people connect and find their community around. Obviously, there are tons of acting schools. It really just depends on what you need in that moment. Like, what are you looking to grow in, and creating that space. But I also respond to all my DMs. So if you have a specific question that isn't covered in Slay the Fame Game, like,
that's a full-time job in and of itself. I know it is.
It is, but you know, this is what I love to do, and so when I wake up early and I'm doing it, I mean, I'm not always like very timely, to be clear, like I need to sometimes like improve on that, but yeah, I mean, send me those messages. I try to make the book very open to help people wherever they are, but there is some very specific stuff for Hollywood, so hopefully they find it helpful.
Oh, amazing. So good.
I've got a question. What would you say to those people, you know, so many people out there, whether they're in LA or not, that are just in a place where they just want to give up because they're just not finding the success that they want, or they're not happy? Like, what did you do when you were in that space? I heard you say so many interesting things. And I wonder what specifically you would recommend to someone who's just going through a real hard time and they just can't sort of get up and continue.
Oh, you'll make me cry. These are the people I do it for. I would first of all say to have that moment. I think a lot of times we quickly try to say, it's going to be okay, let it go. No, you're going through something and you need to honor that emotion, because if you don't honor it, it will not go away. So I always call it my closet time, and sometimes I have a hard day and I say, you know what, I'm going to go and just lay in the closet with my little chihuahuas, and I don't know why, but that's my safe place. So I would say finding that safe place, honoring that emotion, and then listening to what it's trying to tell you. Because there's a message to be said there. There's something going on that needs to be listened to and it needs to be improved on. Sometimes you're hanging around the wrong people. I think that's honestly a really big one, especially in Hollywood. There's so many people, and everyone's so desperate for validation, and they're so hungry to be said, to be seen and loved, that they sometimes focus solely on themselves and not of the people around them. So make sure that you have some really solid people in your life. And maybe this isn't the job for you. I mean, that's okay. It's never giving up if it's making a different choice. So listen to yourself. Don't breeze past it. It's important.
So powerful. So powerful. Absolutely.
So now what are you up to now? Like, you've got the books out, you've got your list, you work with your girls. Like, what are you
Incredible
looking
show
forward
on
to?
Focus.
You play up to the end of the internet. What happens when you get to the end of the internet?
I'm playing around now.
We're back to LA. We're back to LA. So now what? We know you're not allowed. What are you
doing now, girls?
She's slaying it on page 6 in a Santa outfit.
You're so sweet. No, I keep focusing on my network of my girls. Like, what can I do to help them? We are doing some pilot programs right now in some all-girls schools and some nonprofits to create programs for influential women in my network to mentor girls. So I'm really excited about that, because I'm writing programs that are based on the self-help side of my book, and also those practical tips on how to navigate social media in a wise and mature way. And putting that into programs where girls can answer questions and say, like, hey, this is how I'm feeling, this is what I'm thinking, answer questions about goals for their lives. So that's something that I'm working on right now that I'm really excited about, but we haven't really, we're piloting it in a couple of small places just to see how it goes and to iterate. I'm getting a lot of great lean from high school girls, which is awesome because they're so smart and creative. And then I'm also obviously doing Slay with Rachel McCord, like we talked about. So I love doing that because it's just a great excuse to hang out with my best friends.
And then
That's always a good idea.
And then where can they find you? What's your social media? What's your website?
So you can go on the McCordlist.com for anything and everything. And I'm on social media at I am Rachel McCord.
So Rachel, thank you so much for coming on. Such a pleasure. Incredible woman, incredibly up to so many great things. So we're gonna have to tune out right now, but wait, stay tuned, you guys, as we come back for our final segment, recapping the day and talking about our challenges and all the fun things together as a community. Stay tuned.